This is probably based on the way I was raised, but my comfort level is very low. Even if it is at the doctor's office, it really makes me uncomfortable. If I go to the gym, I wait until I get home to shower, as I only live a couple of blocks away. Edit platonic nudity. Story 1. As a lifelong grower, it took me a while to be comfortable being appropriately naked around others, but once I hit my 30s, I could not care less. Story 2. I am from a sauna culture. I am fine with it. If it is cold, then I may not want to do it for long though. Story 3. I was ashamed of my body until recently. I was always stocky and muscular until I had my first surgery, and immediately afterward we entered the pandemic. After it was lifted, I started going to the gym again. Then I had my second surgery. I currently weigh 317 pounds. Until very recently, I was ashamed, but I realized, forget it. Story 4. Depends on where you are in the world. In the United States, I try to be modest. If I have to take off a hoodie, I will grab my t-shirt to expose as little skin as possible. I am in Germany right now, and it is not uncommon to see outdoor workers shirtless in the summer. Nude beaches are also fairly common here. People will change right outside of their cars. If I am at a doctor's appointment, I do not like it, but I would not say I am uncomfortable. If everyone else is shirtless, I will be shirtless too. A huge culture shock was going to a spa in South Korea where the entire room was filled with bare naked men from age 6 to 90. My friend nearly got kicked out because he initially refused to take off his underwear until an elderly Korean man scolded us. Story 5. I'm not a nudist. Even when I am alone, I have no desire to be casually naked. However, when situationally appropriate, such as during a medical examination or changing in a locker room, it does not bother me as an adult. I used to be insecure about it as a teenager, but I grew out of it. Several years of sitting in a doctor's office in briefs or less, in front of the doctor, nurse, and medical students so the doctor could monitor an issue with my leg, certainly helped. Story 6. Before I was married, I would get naked whenever it was socially acceptable. No shame in my game. I was not really packing. I just thought it was fun. Story 7. Once I started going to the gym again, I became completely comfortable being naked around people. I remember one time a friend mentioned doing naked hot tubbing with our friend group, and I told her, listen, I think I'm the only one comfortable being nude around others, but I don't want it to be just us. It's a strange thing because I'm completely comfortable being nude around people. But I'm not about to proposition my friends and say, let's drink naked on the roof. Story 8. I have a skin condition that makes me stay covered up, always wearing long pants and long-sleeve shirts when in public. At home or at my doctor's office, I am comfortable being without clothes. Story 9. Extremely low, only because I am horribly out of shape. If I ever manage to get buff, I will only wear clothes as much as I am legally mandated to. Story 10. I have no problem being naked in front of anyone. However, I am aware that my casual attitude about this sometimes makes others uncomfortable. Therefore, I will make sure to inform anyone beforehand. Story 11. As a man with a small penis, society has taught me it is not okay to have a small penis, so my comfort level is quite low. That being said, I think if I were around complete strangers, I would be more or less fine because of the anonymity factor. Story 12. I am fully clothed at all times. The sole exception is while I am swimming, and even then, it took years of effort to stop wearing a t-shirt. Story 13. I used to be anxious about it due to a certain trauma. I overcame this by spending 2 days at a nudist resort. Story 14. It took me about 2 weeks of going to a gym and showering there before I stopped caring. It really is just about enough exposure. Story 15. Honestly, I am really comfortable in my body. Sure, I am skinny and I am a grower, so I seem small, but I really do not care. If it were not illegal, I would probably walk around nude for a decent amount of time, especially since my body heat is so high. Seriously, summers are dreadful for me. I would gladly be in the snow wearing a short-sleeve shirt. Story 16. I'm still not entirely comfortable being naked around others in a more public setting, but I had always been uncomfortable in front of my partners. It wasn't until a few months after I met my now wife that I began to feel comfortable. I've had eczema my whole life, and while it is almost completely managed now, it was severe for a long time and damaged my self-esteem. She has since shown me how to love myself and my body and has never judged me for my flaws or insecurities. This has helped me feel more comfortable around others, though I am definitely not rushing to a local nude beach. Story 17. If it is a place where nudity is expected, I am not going to get in trouble, so I do not care. Gym locker room? I am not the old guy who wants to chat with one leg up on the bench, but I am also not trying to get out of my swimsuit and into my boxers as fast as possible. I suppose it may be slightly different if I am with people I know, but in general, I do not care. Story 18. I am not the biggest fan, but not because of shame. I like the feel of having clothes on, if that makes sense. However, I have no issues going shirtless on a hot day or at the beach. If someone wanted to see me naked, I would not feel much shame about it. Story 19. I am naked all the time at home. Mind you, it is just my wife and animals here. I am also pretty comfortable outside naked. Story 20. Not comfortable at all. But I am also 46. At 43, it was discovered I had recently had a heart attack 3 days prior before going to the emergency room, which quickly became a triple bypass. I do not care about being naked or clothed anymore when dealing with medical issues. Story 21. I am fine when it is necessary. If it is not necessary, then I am not doing it, and I appreciate others not doing it as well. Story 22. Weird one, but I am fine with strangers, for example, in the locker room or pool I swim at, which does not even have shower dividers. However, with people I know, I am much more modest. When I have shared hotel rooms with friends, I am fine with being down to underwear, but anything more than that to get changed or whatever is done behind a locked bathroom door. Story 23. When I was younger, I was much more bashful and really did not like having to undress around other people. I tried every trick in the book to avoid public showers after gym class, swimming, and similar activities. I was very self-conscious about my body. Now I am older, have a very attractive wife with whom I have 2 children, and I do not really care anymore what anyone aside from my wife thinks about how my body looks. I do not enjoy being naked around other people, but I no longer dread it. Story 24. Even if I feel small, I will still change out of my swimsuit in the locker room. Please just don't look at me. Story 25. Nudity in front of others is not my preference unless I am alone with a naked woman. Then, my focus shifts from my body to hers. Story 26. Pretty comfortable. But it took me a while to get there. After visiting some nudist and nude spaces, I have seen all body types, shapes, and sizes. It gave me great confidence. Story 27. Initially uncomfortable, after a while, forget it. As my friend once said while drunk, so what if they see me, it is no skin off my back. Story 28. In front of fully clothed people, not that much. I shower at the gym almost every day, but sometimes I wait until people have left, especially if I have to change right in their line of sight. Story 29. I've had some full-on nudist experiences in the past, so I am very comfortable with people seeing me as long as they are okay with it. A big caveat. I do not exactly prance around at the gym for several minutes like some of those older men, but I am not uncomfortable with being seen either. Story 30. If other people are naked or if it is part of a performance, I am fine. However, if I am the only naked person in a social situation, I am generally uncomfortable. Story 31. I went to high school in the 1970s. We had communal showers. I was in the army for several years and experienced communal showers there as well. I have been exposed to my doctors and their staff, both male and female. My primary doctor is female. About a year ago, I needed an ultrasound performed on my testicles. To do that, the female technician had to cup my scrotum. For a while, I joined a gym and showered in the locker room afterward. Even with a towel wrapped around you, there are times when you are naked. There are certain places where it is expected for you to be naked, and I am okay with that. It is not meant to be a sexual experience. It is just a fact of life. Story 32. If it is somewhere where people would reasonably expect to find a naked man, then I am fine with it. I do not want to make other people uncomfortable, but I do not care what strangers think about my body. Story 33. I absolutely hate being naked. I always wear a shirt and underwear at a minimum. However, in medical settings, I am very relaxed about it because I know they do not mind. Story 34. 13 years in the Navy. 4 years on one team together the entire time. I was a surfer in my teens. I played football and participated in track in high school. I only started to cover up when I had a daughter. Now, unless there are children or grandchildren around, I am shirtless and nude, depending on the circumstances. Story 35. I do not know why, but I am pants-free every moment I get, although I like wearing a shirt or hoodie. When I was dating my wife, I told her this, and she thought I was joking, that it was not possible. However, she converted and is now a true believer. Story 36. Around women, zero issues. Well, at least during my lean periods, I have never been comfortable being naked around other men, particularly if they are also naked. Story 37. It varies for me. I grew up with locker rooms early, so my base comfort is quite good, but I have also had body issues for years. If I am with a friend who is also not in the best shape, I am not completely free, but I am not shy about going shirtless or showering. I try to maintain some modesty and not make a full direct stare when we are in a sauna or changing. If I am with someone who is in much better shape, I do get a bit self-conscious, but it is often reduced if they are outgoing about it, and I tend to mirror some of their behavior. Story 38. Around other men, no issues at all since I was in the army for a long time. That is one of the few careers where you regularly shower in the same room as your coworkers. Around any medical professional, again, no problem since I know that when they see me naked, it barely registers. Around my wife, of course not. Around any other woman, I might feel weird, but I cannot really think of many situations where I would be naked around a woman who was not my wife unless it was some sort of emergency, in which case I doubt either of us would think about it. Story 39. Showers, I am completely naked. It is not my problem if you cannot keep your eyes to yourself. Anywhere I am not supposed to be naked, I would feel uncomfortable because of the law, but otherwise it is whatever. I am home alone and have no problem being naked, just worried about sitting on stuff and sweat. With a significant other, naked is no question. At the doctor's office, if they need me to strip, I am naked and do not care. Healthcare workers see a lot worse and it is per their request. I sleep in boxers because it is the most comfortable. I would sleep naked, but I do not want fluids getting on my sheets or mattress. Obviously, if someone walked in on me naked, I would be a little uncomfortable and cover up. They have to take me to dinner and a movie for that kind of show. To add context, I grew up in South America, Australia, and Sweden, then came to the United States in middle school. The United States is just very strange about everything and it is unhealthy. I was ashamed as a young boy in the United States because I was uncircumcised. Nowhere else in the world did I feel ashamed about my body. I eventually stopped caring. It is not my problem if they hate themselves and what they have done with their bodies. Story 40. I'm only comfortable being naked around people I find physically attractive. So it tends to be romantic partners or women I hook up with only. Silly as it sounds, I feel like my intimate parts are something that only those who meet my standards of cute or pretty deserve to see. Like, I don't want to waste my modesty being seen by some unattractive or irrelevant person. But other than that, the only exceptions are close friends. I've been to hot springs totally nude with my inner circle of mixed female and male college friends. Back in high school, I often did sleepovers at my best friend's place and we'd sometimes shower together naked. Thankfully, I've had generally good health, so I've never needed to strip at a doctor's appointment so far. I'm not prudish or religious or anything. I'm naked in my house most of the time. Just with other people, I feel like they have to be somebody special to me before they get to see my body. Story 41. If everyone is naked, then I am fine with being naked. My partner and I have been on nature's beaches in France and Spain, as it is too cold in this country. We feel very relaxed being naked and are often naked around the house. Story 42. I was always a bit uncomfortable with it because I am definitely a grower and have always been a bit chubby around the belly. That all changed at my best friend's bachelor party. I saw him in the hot tub at our rental and walked over to join him. I saw he was naked and decided that if he was comfortable with that, then why not? So I pulled off my bathing suit and hopped in. I think his reaction, which was just affectionate and friendly, helped me feel okay with it. By the end of the evening, the entire group of about 8 of us were all in the hot tub naked. It was a remarkably freeing and loving experience. Story 43. I think my comfort level is average. I don't often find myself in situations where nudity is common, but if I do, it is no big deal. I am not very attractive, beer belly, some large scars, unimpressive genitals. It wouldn't be my idea to get naked, but if the situation calls for it, then I guess that is what we are doing. Story 44. I live in a Nordic country where naked saunas are common. As long as I am warm enough and have a good reason to be naked, I am comfortable with it. Story 45. My level of comfort with being naked, publicly or otherwise, should make everyone else uncomfortable. Story 46. I am absolutely nothing special, with a bigger build and an average physique. However, I take every opportunity to assert my dominance whenever I can. To be honest, everyone in any changing room I enter should consider themselves lucky they do not get disrespected. Story 47. Absolutely zero comfort level. I will sit in a sauna in a t-shirt and shorts, and I do not change outside of stalls unless I am positive nobody is around. Story 48. Unless someone is staring at me intently, I really do not care. I am in decent enough shape to not feel that what I am displaying is shameful. Story 49. I feel confident with an intimate partner and doctors, although I do not enjoy it. I do what I must because they are respectful. Public changing rooms are quite rare here, so I am definitely not comfortable being naked in a changing room or similar public space. I have never really understood that culture, but I also do not go to these places under normal circumstances. Story 50. Same. Very low comfort level for me. Some countries have fully nude public baths, and I just can't do it. When going to the doctor's office, I shower and get ready as if I am about to have sex, just in case I have to get naked. Story 51. I hate that American culture automatically sexualizes any form of nudity. I would love for it to be acceptable to walk out into public wearing only my underwear or less. I am very comfortable being nude at my own home, although I usually wear underwear so my private parts do not get caught on anything. I think if more people were comfortable with their own bodies and did not automatically assume that a lack of clothing implies sexual intent, the world would probably be a better place. Story 52. If there is a purpose, like the doctor or locker room, fine, I will get it done with no problem. I find hanging around naked physically uncomfortable, so that is just not going to happen. I think it is a sensory thing, too many textures in places. I would rather only feel the comfortable, consistent underwear. Bed is okay. Sheets have a similar effect. Story 53. I am only comfortable being naked in front of my significant other. I am a big guy, always have been, and was bullied early on for it. This led to me having some body dysmorphia. The person I am on the outside does not really align with the person I see myself as. It never has. Story 54. As long as the setting is appropriate and legal, I am fully comfortable undressing. Whether it is a medical examination, a nudist beach, or showers at the gym, I am absolutely fine with it. Story 55. Entirely comfortable. I have been playing sports from a young age, and at some point just started getting stronger. Nobody else really cares about your body, to be honest. Story 56. Moderately high, maybe. The question really is, who would be comfortable looking at me being nude? Story 57. When I was a drinker, I did not care. Turns out that when I am sober, I am not as confident with my grower being out and about. Story 58. I made some nude-friendly friends in college and just continued it. I am 51 now. I am comfortable in public and have done a few women naturist bike rides, beaches, clubs, camping, hiking, and hanging on my back deck in my little secluded nook that I built so I couldn't be seen by neighbors unless they were really trying. 50% of the population carries around the same bait and tackle. What makes mine special and secretive? Nothing. I would rate my body a 5 or 6. An extra 20 pounds, some unusual hair, some unusual moles, but overall pretty average and unremarkable. Story 59. If I am changing in a locker room, at the pool, in the sauna, or sharing a hotel room with others on a trip, I do not mind. Nobody is standing there staring or making me feel uncomfortable. Everyone looks away and just gets changed. I think it is when other people are stressed, anxious, or uncomfortable that I start to feel awkward. Suddenly, I am reminded that these people are very aware and try to hide behind doors, walls, or screens, making it kind of weird by quickly changing and drawing attention to it. Otherwise, I never think about it. Story 60. I am comfortable being naked in settings where it is expected, for example, public changing rooms, but I would not be comfortable in the street. Story 61. Percentage-wise, 0% in all settings. I don't like taking my shirt off at the pool, and I am most comfortable in pants and a hoodie. However, I swear it barely gets cold enough to wear one without overheating. Story 62. I am comfortable. I enjoy nude beaches, and being naked in the gym locker room and showers does not bother me. I occasionally model nude for sketching and painting classes at a local college. Story 63. I have never had issues being naked at any time. If it were not for the weather in the north being so variable, I probably would not wear them at all. Story 64. I was ashamed of how I looked, and past sexual traumas left me terrified of being seen naked for many years. Then I became friends with a woman who was a recreational nudist. After a few months of friendship, I accepted her offer to strip down and hang out. It was scary at first since nudity was strongly linked to sexuality in my mind. However, I quickly discovered it was not as frightening as I thought and was instead liberating. Shedding clothing felt like shedding the walls I usually put up between myself and others. It became our new normal that when we visited, within 10 minutes we were nude for the rest of the time. This comfort with nudity extended to other areas, such as medical appointments. I have also seen a great deal of nudity as an artist involved in life drawing. Old, young, fat, thin, male, female. I have drawn more nude models than I can remember, either in groups or one-on-one. This further normalized nudity for me to the point that I ended up modeling myself. I am not going to get naked in front of people for no reason, and I still skip public showers since that feels unnecessary. But being seen naked is no longer daunting for me. Story 65. Completely willing, I have a healthy desire to be naked as much as possible. I am going to try a nude yoga session soon to see if that is the case or if I am just comfortable with one-on-one. I am also looking to go to a lifestyle club to test that thought. I think I would enjoy being looked at fully nude. Story 66. When I joined the army, I spent the summer close to 64 of my closest friends. We saw each other naked almost every day. I am not an exhibitionist, but I am also not afraid of being seen naked by anyone. I do my best to wear a robe when my roommate might be around out of respect, as they might not want to see me naked or in just my boxers. Story 67. I am learning to be more comfortable with it. It has much to do with people commenting positively on my body lately, which I have never experienced much before, so it feels good. Story 68. Very uncomfortable. I am starting to finally get a little better with the doctor, but still uncomfortable. Even at home, I am very shy. I do not mind being in underwear, but being completely naked is awkward. I have tried being more open because I do not want my sons to develop this trait, but it still feels weird. There was only one friend with whom I was completely comfortable being fully naked, but we live hours apart now. Story 69. I am a grower, not a shower. I am chubby, and I have disproportionately large breasts. Even if I lost all the weight, I am convinced I would still be at least a large B cup or a small C cup. I am not very comfortable having my shirt off around other people. Even when I lost my virginity, I was fully clothed from the waist up. It took a couple of years after that before I was comfortable having sex without my shirt on. Now I can pretty much hang out completely naked with a girl I am seeing, but it took a lot to get to that point, and I am still not comfortable shirtless around people I am not sleeping with. For reference, I am currently 28 and lost my virginity at 23. Story 70. Never comfortable, not even after sex or taking a shower with my girlfriend. I hate nudity on myself and others. Story 71. Very high if everyone else is naked. high benefits for a reason. For example, I did life modeling for beer money at university, and I have gotten free waxing appointments by allowing my waxer to demonstrate to younger staff how to do a male Brazilian wax. Story 72. Most of my close friends have seen me naked, usually at the pool or lake whenever I just feel like it. If it is around strangers, well, they do not need to know what I look like naked either. It depends on if it is cold or hot or what the occasion is. I would say I am pretty comfortable in my own skin, but also because my friends are comfortable knowing that is how I am sometimes. However, I do not want to make strangers uncomfortable either. Story 73. I was raised in a nudist household, so it has never bothered me. I have a pool and home gym, so there is no need to be nude in public. However, when my kids and their partners visit, most of us are nude around the pool. The boyfriend of one of my daughters never goes nude. I have never had to be nude at a doctor's appointment, but it would not bother me if I had to be, as it is in a professional setting. The only time I am nude in public is when I go to a nature beach, which is quite rare these days. I have not been to one for a couple of years. Story 74. As low as can be. I grew up in America and played sports. People made fun of certain things about my body, which I later found out were not unusual, and it made me incredibly self-conscious as a teenager. Over the years, I have gained a lot of stomach fat, which makes it even worse. I am about to turn 39, and unless I am about to shower or have sex, I am not naked. I am working on it, though. Story 75. If I go to a party with dozens of people in attendance and I only know a single person, and upon entering the organizers come greet me nude, point to a room and tell me that is for all my clothes, I am going in there, stripping down and walking to the party to greet everyone and grab a drink. Summary. No concerns given. Story 76. I have played team sports all my life, including rugby. I am in my early 30s. The number of men who have seen my genitalia must be in the hundreds. That does not bother me at all. Story 77. Only comfortable being nude in front of other men. Being nude in front of females is uncomfortable. I do not even like having a female doctor. Story 78. At locations where nudity is expected and with friends who do not mind, I am very comfortable. In locker rooms and showers, as well as where permitted in saunas and steam rooms, I will be naked. Swimming, using tubs, and lying in the sun naked is much nicer. As long as those present are okay, I will be naked. Many of my friends have seen me naked. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.